What's up guys and welcome back. The Arkham series is the best superhero gaming franchise of all time. Every game has something special about it. For example, City for its enticing story and expansive lore, or Night for its revolutionary gameplay. But one game that still never gets overlooked is the one that started it all, Batman Arkham Asylum. Today we're going to take a trip down memory lane and see if this game still stands the test of time almost 17 years later. To understand this game, you first have to understand the team behind it. Rocksteady Studios was relatively unknown at the time and only had one game under their belt. Urban Chaos Riot Response was a first-person shooter and considered to be a pretty decent game. So who would have thought that WB would take a chance on a team that had only around 100 employees to tackle one of the biggest IPs that they had? And little did they know, this would launch a franchise that is still talked about in high regard to this day. On August 25th, 2009, Batman Arkham Asylum was released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The story was written by Paul Dini, the writer that worked on Batman the Animated Series, and it featured the original voice cast such as Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill as the Joker, and Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn. The story followed Batman as he escorted Joker into the asylum, only to realize it was a trap and watched as the Joker takes over the island. During the story, you will have to fight iconic villains such as Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, and Scarecrow to ultimately stop the Joker's plot to create an army of Titan-enhanced monsters to take over the city. This story is relatively simple and to me feels like it could be a plot of a BTAS episode. It's short, lasting around a little over 4 hours, and I think the runtime is one of its strengths. Unlike the other Arkham games, you can pretty much beat this, then go on about your day. I think overall the characters were done pretty well. Batman, as stoic as ever.
Batman!
Don't speak. You're safe now.
But it's a trap!
I know. Just not for me.
The Joker with his unpredictable cynicism.
You had to spoil everything, didn't you? Beating up Bane, feeding Scarecrow to Croc, slapping around Harley, my hobby by the way, and ruining all my lovely Venom plans.
And Harley Quinn, well, being Harley Quinn.
You have one chance to surrender, Quinn.
Tempting, Bats, but no dice. Now the inmates are running the asylum. Well, technically the Joker's goons shipped in from Blackgate, but you get the idea.
Other characters such as Bane weren't handled well, as they turned a pretty much solid equal for Batman that matched intellect and strength into a mindless brute in Joker's plan. Other than that, the characters were done pretty well, and you can definitely see the inspiration from the animated series. The voice cast did a great job as well. Kevin Conroy delivered a calmer and more stoic performance as Batman, giving the feeling that even though everything is falling into chaos, Batman still feels as if he has some control, even if that control is pretty small. Mark Hamill delivered a creepy but also kind of funny Joker performance, turning that Joker from the animated series into a serious and scary threat when the tone is darker and more grounded.
Ooh, would you sneak in with your bats? Come on, tell me. Batarangs, bat claws, bat smacks.
And you can't talk about this game without mentioning the atmosphere. This is what most people mention about the game, and it's one of the game's biggest strengths. Arkham Asylum is on an island completely secluded from Gotham, and you really get this feeling of isolation and loneliness as the events of the game progress. The murky green skies, ancient Gothic architecture, and that huge moon in the background really accentuate this feeling. No other Arkham game really achieves this, and this might be in part due to the haunting history of this institution. I recommend reading the book Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth, written by Grant Morrison, to understand as the game takes heavy inspiration from it. This tone also isn't replicated from the other Arkham games because the Batman you play as feels less powerful, and that leads me to talk about the gameplay. It's simple really. Press X to strike, Y to counter, B to stun, and double tap A in any direction to dodge. The combat is built off these 4 mechanics, and this simple system has been known as free flow combat. This system was so simple because the team felt that Batman fighting thugs should be simple, as he is one of the best fighters in the world. It still feels very satisfying, along with the sound design that really makes you feel the weight of these punches and kicks. While other gadgets like batarangs and the Batclaw are eventually given to you throughout the story, they really aren't as impactful as they would be in later entries of the series, and for me weren't really used that much in combat. This system changed the game for combat in superhero games, and has even inspired some others outside the superhero genre, like Sleeping Dogs for example. I think you should play this game before any of the others, and that's because the combat is way faster and more expansive than the other games, as well as you having a lot more options as well. It laid the foundation that these other games built upon. The same goes for stealth, which was also a big part of this game. Batman is a creature of the shadows, and Rocksteady made sure to make Batman feel like this in the game. You can sit on gargoyles and watch your enemies move around, and as you take them out, more of them will become scared and more anxious. The takedowns are simple. You really have silent takedowns, ledge takedowns, glide kicks, and did you know ground takedowns are silent in this game? You can also use gadgets such as the Batclaw to pull enemies off railings from a distance and explosive gel to destroy weak walls when they are around. And you can't mention stealth without detective vision. Detective vision allows you to see through solid objects and detect interactable objects. It kind of feels like a crush, but really helps you see, as the thugs can sometimes blend in with the interior. Every time I enter a stealth section, I find myself pressing the left button out of habit because this feature is so reliable. This feature isn't just for stealth either, as you can use it in detective sections as well. Detective sections aren't really that special, especially for Batman being called the world's greatest detective. You just use it to follow trails, basically. While it wouldn't reach its peak until Arkham Origins, it still set a solid foundation, and this goes for the gameplay as a whole. While the open world was detailed and thoroughly designed, it doesn't really feature that many side missions. The only true side mission in this game is the Riddler challenges. Riddlers left question mark shaped trophies called Riddler trophies and riddles all over the island for you to find. Some of these are as easy as just going and finding them, and others require gadgets to uncover. These riddles give you character bios with information about these characters, and it's a great way to stay immersed in the world of Batman. The next side mission is about the Chronicles of Arkham. These are slabs of concrete, or whatever, I don't know the terminology, that have a beetle on them. If you scan these, you will hear a voice message from the spirit of the founder of Arkham. As you listen to these, you learn more about the history of Arkham, and the ending reveals just how twisted this place is. Other things you can do are destroying chattering Joker teeth, which are actually very annoying, and also collecting patient interview tapes. Overall, while there aren't that many side missions in this game, the lore you get from them makes up for it. Other than the main story, there are still things you can do. Challenge maps are a good test of combat and stealth using different maps from the game. Each one has 3 stars that you can get by completing certain objectives in these combat and stealth encounters. And originally, as an exclusive to the PS3 and Mac users, the Joker was an available player. Most of his combat is similar to Batman, but some of the gadgets are replaced. The only alternate suit you get for Batman is the armored batsuit, and if you've watched the short, you know how I feel about this one. Speaking of suits, the main batsuit you get in the game is very solid. The team was going for something very Jim Lee-esque if you've ever seen his artwork, and I think they did a great job of paying homage to it, but also creating something that could stand alone. It stays pretty grounded, but doesn't forget its fantastical roots, like the trunks being on the outside. This is one of the most recognizable Batman designs, and is one of my favorites as well. Now, let's discuss one of the more controversial parts of this game, and that is the boss fights. The boss fights in this game can be pretty hit or miss. On one hand, you have great ones like Scarecrow, which sees you in a hallucinatory state caused by fear toxin. Then you have not so great ones such as Bane, which the game does nothing to separate him from a normal Titan henchman. Titan henchmen make up the majority of the boss fights in this game, and I guess that does make sense, since Titan is one of the main plot points of the story. Some notable standouts include the Poison Ivy boss fight, which sees you fighting her giant plant as she throws spores at you, and uses her pheromone-controlled guards to attack you. This boss really keeps you on your toes and tests your tactical awareness. The Killer Croc boss sees you walking silently on platforms to collect spores to synthesize an antidote for Titan. This boss fight may seem scary on first try, especially with the amount of times he pops out at you, but when you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. As mentioned before, Scarecrow is one of the best boss fights in the game, as it delves deep into Batman's psyche during this time. Joker's boss fight, or should I say Titan Joker's boss fight, for a finale is pretty lackluster. You don't even truly get to fight him, as he just swings at you a few times, then leaves and let his henchmen do the rest. As much as I love combat in this game, this boss fight truly doesn't hit the mark, especially for a final boss fight. I feel like a good final boss fight, especially for this game, should make you use everything you've learned up to this point. I would start with the stealth section first, but after you stop and confront Joker, he then injects himself with Titan as a sort of last resort. Maybe you can add different platforms for him to use the line launcher, or make him disarm bombs by using the cryptographic sequencer. I don't know, I'm not a game designer, but I feel like this would help a little. So now, to answer the question we've been building up to this entire video, does it hold up? Me personally, I think yes it does. The combat is still very smooth, the stealth is also fun as well. While the boss fights are hit or miss, they still can be enjoyable. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe and do all that other YouTube stuff. And hopefully we can do some of these for the other Arkham games. So see you later.